You think she's a good girl, but once you get to know her, you realize she's everything. She's crazy, she's funny, she's honest, and you'll never know what she'll do next.
I'm so excited. We're back. It's Friday again, and I'm here this time with Chuck Harder. I was so impressed with him at the National Speakers Association meeting that I went to last month. And we got to talking, and he's got a lot of interesting things to share about safety. And so, Chuck, say hello to our viewers here.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having me.
Now, tell me, Chuck, I was researching you a little bit this morning, and I came up with some statistics I want to share. I should have had those pulled up, but you can tell me if these are right off your website. Are these still current? 2 million victims are there are approximately 2 million cases of workplace violence in U.S. each year. These incidents cause businesses to lose more than $300 billion annually. 80% of companies, nearly 80% of companies are unprepared for an active shooter. Although 62% of companies view an active shooter as a top threat, 68% of workers across the world do not feel safe at work. 94% of Americans workers have been bullied at least once in the workplace. 2 million victims. There are approximately 2 million cases of workplace violence in U.S. each year. These incidents cause businesses to lose more than $300 billion annually. Yeah. Chuck, I was amazed at those statistics. Are those updated?
As of 2024.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So please tell me what's your background, Chuck?
My background is, well, I actually talk about my family first. My father and my mother, but my father retired after 58 years as being a police officer, 24 as sheriff, a six-term sheriff, and it kind of made my way down to me growing up. And I worked for the Binghamton Police Department, which is in upstate New York, for 20 years.
Wow.
While doing that, I was on the SWAT team for 12. I was a team leader on the SWAT team, and I also taught a 3-week block in the police academy called Officer Survival. And Officer Survival is teaching new police officers how to survive on the streets, from where to sit in a restaurant to dealing with a domestic disturbance, pulling over a car. So really teaching people and officers how to be safe.
Okay. Now, how did you transition from that law enforcement to what you're doing now? Explain to us what you're doing now exactly.
In 2029, I was on the SWAT team.
It was 2009, not 2029.
I'm sorry.
I read about it this morning, so I know when it was.
2009, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
We're not there yet, Chuck.
Right. I didn't drink enough coffee yet.
I didn't have any coffee. I'm off my coffee right now.
While in the SWAT team, I responded to a mass shooting where 13 people were killed.
That's horrific.
Right. But 36 people did survive. So it was a long ordeal that day. I saw a lot of bad that day.
Where was that?
In Binghamton, New York.
Oh
yes,
my goodness.
yes. So it was hours and hours of being there and dealing with things and getting people out that were shot and seeing the mass casualties and going through the building and finding people that were safe, and which was a good part. So
that is a good part. Good thing you were there.
Yeah. So a lot of the people that day survived because of actions of 2 teachers. It was called the American Civic Association.
Okay.
Which teaches adult immigrants how to speak English.
All right.
So a man went in there and shot a bunch of people and all that.
Oh my goodness.
Had little mental issues. And
did that cause you to have mental issues after that, after seeing something like that?
You learn how to deal with things as a police officer, but you also previously, as like your last podcast, you deal with a lot of trauma.
That was last week, if you saw it.
Yes.
You didn't look for it.
Yes. So trauma, like with the police officers, they say it's progressive PTSD from when you first get on to all the years of seeing people at their worst or killed in car accidents or shot and all that. So I actually was involved in a shooting. And after that, I didn't deal with it too well for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and saw a specialist, a law enforcement specialist,
Okay.
who brought me back to my normal self.
Good.
And then I learned how to deal with things, how to really deal with
And you wanted to help
trauma.
people, right?
Yes. So after that, dealing with a mass shooting, I knew how to deal with things, and some other people didn't. So try to help them. So after that mass shooting, I probably 4 months after I started a security company, and which also had to do with training and just teaching people how to be ready for something like this. It's reality. I mean, it's all over the world. It's a lot here in the United States, but a lot of people or companies don't want to talk about bad things.
Right.
But bad things happen. So why not be ready? Be prepared.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's interesting to hear you say that. So what kind of topics do you teach with your new business now? Is it new? How long have you been going
Oh,
here?
I've been teaching nationally since 2015.
Nationally?
Yeah.
You teach across
the country. I have some
Okay.
bigger companies I teach nationally, and some other ones coming up. So I've been around and different
That's
places to
amazing.
teach,
How
yeah.
do people hear about you and contact you?
Well, a lot of it's company to company a lot, when you get with a bigger company, but just like anybody else, boots on the ground and try to get the word out there, about safety and workplace safety.
Okay, now so what does situational awareness mean to you?
All right. Situational awareness is knowing what is going around you. That's pretty much what it is. What is around you,
Okay.
and know what is happening. Know if someone's following you. If you're in a store and someone you get that feeling that somebody is following you or something's not right, and the hair may stand up on the back of your neck. They say you need to follow your instincts.
Right.
So if something like that has happened, if you feel a little off with somebody, then stay away from them.
Yeah.
Simple things like that. Situation where I'm teaching I do teach a lot of women simple things, how to walk to your car.
That's what I was going to ask you. What would you teach? How's your women's program go?
Yeah, teaching the women. It's certain things like the stickers you have in your car. Do you have the stickers that show the stick figures like man, wife, kids?
How many
and all
people
that?
are in your car?
What do you have in your
No,
car?
I don't have
kids.
anything. Is that good or bad to have
Bad.
that? You don't want to have that.
Yeah, you have to show your kids are there, then you can have people that know that you have kids and
Then they follow you and
stuff like that. So, like I said, how to walk to and from to work, how to avoid people, what to do if someone were to come up to you, how to handle the situation, how to carry yourself. There's a lot of different things to teach people how to be safe and be prepared before it happens.
Now, is that the same kind of stuff you teach realtors? Because I know you've got a realtors program as well.
Yes, I do. And a lot of it's situational awareness. What I like to do is bring a police aspect into the realtor world. Obviously, you want to go and you want to know who your clients are and your buyers or sellers, both. Don't just think your buyers are the best people in the world. And then when entering a home, you never go first. You never walk into a room first. You always, if there's more than one person, you stand in a doorway. You let them see things and explain things.
Okay.
Yeah, and always look for an exit. And what are you wearing that day? Are you wearing high heel shoes? Are you able to get away quick? There's a lot of things to do to teach realtors.
So like when we're showing a house, is it better just to let them walk around the house themselves? You're not supposed to show them each room?
Yeah, you show me each room, you let them lead into the room.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you stay out of the room.
Yeah, you walk into the room behind them.
Because I'm thinking about one certain situation where there were steps in the house, it was a townhouse, and I had to go all the way up, and I was thinking, the whole time I'm doing it, I'm thinking, man, this could really be a bad situation, like this could turn into a bad situation. If I didn't really know the other person, the man, very well,
Yeah.
He did end up buying it, which was good. But you never know how it's gonna go, like you said.
No, because you get deep into a house. That's what I'm saying. You gotta look for doorways to get out of the house. Even so don't put yourself in bad positions. Is what I really like to talk about.
And like in an open house situation, like if you're in the open house and you're in there and that's where you're supposed to be for a few hours, and then it's like nobody's there, and so then one person comes in. Then how do you handle that?
I always advise never do it by yourself.
You don't
open house. Do a buddy system with an open house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely. Highly recommend it.
Okay.
You just don't know. Open houses, that's an easy way for anybody to come off the street and walk in. And that's your predators.
Okay. Okay. So what about workplace violence active and shooter preparedness?
Okay. Workplace violence. I teach how to deal with people in, let's say, in the workplace, whether someone's being aggressive towards you, how to handle. It starts with how to when you pick up the phone and someone starts yelling at you, how to handle that. Which, you just got to use your simple skills. Just be calm and patient. Listen, yeah, and don't hang up. I always say don't hang up.
Oh, really?
Well,
don't hang up and block. Do you recommend not blocking?
Yeah. So what happens when we've all been hung up on before? What happens? You get enraged.
You get mad and you go find that person.
Exactly. So don't do that. Yeah. So it's just I teach that while in the workplace. If it's bullying, you teach about how to not do that. If someone gets in your face and starts arguing with you at work, how to deal with that. It's the same thing. How to stay calm. Try to avoid it. There's a thing called verbal judo, which is the art of persuasion, how to talk to people and to get around things. And then do a lot of stuff like
verbal judo. Yeah, I'm interested in
look up verbal judo. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to Google that. I'm gonna have to ask Surrey when I leave. Surrey, let's Google judo.
Judo.
And then it'll say, do you want to ask? What is the other one? The IT guy. What is it? It's always asking me if I want to ask the GI or what is it called? AI. GI.
Oh,
AI.
AI.
You want to ask AI? You want the AI or you want to go to Google? That's what it always says. Anyway.
Yeah. And I'll do like live demonstrations. We'll be talking, and I'll say pretending like you want to fire me, and I'll raise my voice and see what you do, and I'll stand up and I'll see if the other person stands up. If they don't, then I'll slowly reach in my pocket and I'll pull out a knife, because a lot of times people just look in people's eyes. They don't look at. My eyes can't hurt you, but my hands can. So whenever you're dealing with people, even as realtors, wherever you're out there, always watch the whole body. Don't just look into people's eyes.
Wait, you pull out a knife? You mean in your training?
Yeah, do it slow. I don't open it. I just pull it out and say, "See,
this is
gonna happen." Oh, it's very impactful. People because that's what brings it home. Yeah.
Okay, so what about drug awareness and detection?
Well, I also do. We have the active shooter training too, which is a lot of. It's very. That's one where there's not a lot of joking around. It's real life situations. We see it on TV, whether it's schools, it's movie theaters, it's everywhere you can possibly be. So it's about being prepared, using all your senses. If you hear something, it's the run, hide, fight. Obviously, you want to run first. If you can't, run away, hide, and never always have two ways to leave and two places to hide. And the final thing I always say is fight it out. If you had to, it comes down to there's a chair over there, hitting somebody with a chair or something, or as a group tackling somebody. So there's a lot of different things that go into it.
Okay, now what about international safety? Because I do travel internationally a lot, and I noticed on your website there was an international safety component.
Yes. So I'll ask
you. Hadn't even mentioned that to me.
So I'll ask you, what's one of the most important things you can take with you on international travel? There's gonna be a few, but
I'm thinking eye mask. Eye mask.
Most people say passport.
Water, but you can't get that through the passport. You got to get through the airport.
So one very important thing is to written down on a piece of paper, not on your phone, because your phone may be taken or not work, is the address and phone number of the local consulate or embassy.
Oh, really?
Where it is, because let's say you're going to a country and something bad happens or a natural disaster.
That's good advice.
That's the only way out. And just so you know, the U.S. government is not responsible to get you to the embassy or consulate. That's your job.
Right.
They'll help get you out. So
right.
Simple little steps like that to help you along your way.
Now, what about like SWAT lessons for your business team?
SWAT lessons.
Do you teach those?
How to run.
What does that
things
mean?
Like that. A lot of it
sounds important.
That's right. A lot of it.
SWAT. You put the word SWAT in it, and all of a sudden it sounds super important.
Intense and important, yeah.
And intensive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it is. The big thing about that, and one of the things is teamwork. As a SWAT team member, you rely on your
What does SWAT stand for?
special weapons and tactics.
Okay.
Yes, that's what it's.
I was hoping you would know the answer to that.
Yeah.
That would have been embarrassing
it's
if
like
you hadn't known the answer.
That old TV show about SWAT back in, I think it was in the 70s or something like that. So a little different now. But it teaches, like I said, teamwork, because as a SWAT member, from the guy in the first guy in the row, that's what I used to do, to the last guy, no matter where, you're depending on everybody. Everybody has their own job to do. Everybody has to do their job. So as in business, nobody can slack. Everybody has to do their job, come together as a team and get it done.
Okay, great. Well, do you have any great stories that you can share with us?
Oh yeah.
Like, I want to say, man, I'd ask for a certain kind of stories, but what do you think is the most impactful story that you could tell?
I think one is about situational awareness and survival. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I received a call of a young woman naked in the street screaming. When you get a call, some calls are more serious than others.
Right.
So I got there, young 20, 21-year-old girl in the street, naked, just
Wow.
she was just ran up to my car, help me. I had a man in my apartment, he tried to rape me. So what happened?
You succeeded.
Yeah, no. This is about survival and situational awareness. So she's laying in her bed. This is where, I would be scared like this way. All of a sudden she sees a man walk by her bedroom doorway, and she's frozen. He all of a sudden,
In an apartment.
He comes in, and all of a sudden turns the light on. So there she is. So 20-year-old girl. So he starts talking to her, and he says to have her take off her clothes. So she does, but she's thinking in her head, what can I do? So she keeps talking to the guy, because I always say, if you're talking to somebody, they're not doing anything. You keep talking. So while she's talking, she remembers that she wants to get out of this bedroom. So she walks into the living room. He agrees to go to the living room. Well, in the living room, there's a thing of pepper spray next to her couch.
Oh, that was fun.
So she ran around to one side of the couch, put the couch between her and him, grabbed the pepper sprayed him, and then she was able to run out of her apartment down to the street.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
that was really smart.
Yeah, so as a 20-year-old woman, kept her wits about her, thought how to get out of this, and then proceeded through it. We ended up catching him minutes later, pepper sprayed, and he'd been just got out of prison for rape. And another good thing was that he dropped his wallet on the back steps, so that it was a very easy one to arrest and
Brilliant.
probably prosecute. So I just tell people that, especially like women, just never give up.
Right.
Always think things through.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was really smart to keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
That was really smart.
Yeah. I guess kind of a funny one, what I tell people not to do. I had a buddy on the SWAT team, his last name was Spano. Everybody just called him Spano. And his job that day was to drive us to a house to do a raid on, to a drug raid. And he didn't want to do it, but he had to, because our usual driver wasn't there. So we're driving there, and he's driving bad, and we're almost falling over, and he stopped 3 houses short, and we go and do the raid. We come out, and we're like, John, what was that? And he laughs. He goes, well, I was told if you do something really bad the first time, they'll never ask you to do it again.
Wow. Okay.
That's a lesson. Don't do that.
That is great.
Yeah.
Now, James, I know sometimes you have questions. Is there any questions that's come up for you that you want to ask today?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
James always has questions. After that, we turn off the camera, James is like, ask a good question. I'm like, geez, James, why didn't you ask that sooner?
My question is this. I believe after being in business, I was in the restaurant business for 30 years. After being in business for many years and now doing what you and I talked about, every single company should have this type of training for their corporation and for their employees. When you're talking to companies, what's the biggest piece of resistance that you get from them about why they wouldn't want to do it? And how do you break down that resistance to let them know that this is really critically important, especially nowadays?
That's a great question. Great question. And I actually say I am not successful as much as I am successful, because a lot of these business people, companies, they don't think the security is the top thing for their companies. there's the biggest thing is it won't happen here.
Yeah.
So let's just push it aside.
Right.
Money wise, it's I'll show you a 10-minute video. This will really help you, which everybody knows it doesn't. So just try to talk people into it. Usually when I get hired by somebody, something either happened, or you can tell the person that's doing hiring is passionate about keeping people safe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard. It's really hard to try to talk somebody into what they should do when it comes to safety and security and what hasn't happened, but what may happen.
Right.
If you're an individual, Chuck, and you just want to get some of this training because you live in an area where you may have to walk a block or two by yourself, or you're on the subway, or whatever the case may be, what type of advice would you give to them to get some specific training?
If they with me, usually I do a hired. I do it in groups. And so whether it was a group training, individually, I could say you could go online and try to see what will work for you. But like with me, I don't do any one-on-one trainings. But just you can read what I have on my website and learn that.
Okay, well, that's great information. So for people that don't have a lot of money to hire you, so what you'd recommend is that they go to Google or YouTube or something like that and watch a video about how to keep safe.
Right.
When you're traveling, when you're a realtor, when you're a woman, just always. And I think that what the message here is today, just be aware of your surroundings, because that's situational awareness is what your whole message is about. And it's about being always aware of who's following you, sounds you hear, especially when you're alone out there. You just never know. You've got to be really super careful these days, right?
Yes. And also to go off that too is I've done it for non-profits, not-for-profits, and obviously do it for a lot less because everything I've done in my life and in my professional life and what I've seen, I like to try to help everybody as best I can, and to make sure everybody's safe and goes home and has a happy life.
Yeah, thank you. And you can see the website, Chuck's website there running across the bottom of the screen. And also we're gonna have more information in the bio of this video. And please subscribe, like it. If you've got a comment, something you want to share, or something you liked from watching this video, post it below. All these things help us, share it with somebody who needs to know how to be safe as a realtor or in a workplace or as a woman walking around by herself. If you've got someone you're concerned about, please share this video, okay? And also now I'm going to give the real estate minute, okay? You can see this is how the Sunstats graph of March 2025, this is how real estate is looking in Florida. But I know you're not all from Florida, so I wanted to let you know, as of May 9th, 2025, the U.S. real estate market has experienced a mix of trends. Mortgage rates have declined to approximately 6.63%, easing affordability concerns, while home prices have stabilized with some areas seeing slight declines. Inventory levels have increased, providing buyers with more options, and investor confidence is rising, particularly in industrial properties. And however, challenges remain, including affordability issues due to high mortgage rates and limited housing supply. And let me tell you, it's not a buyer's market out there anymore. It's a balanced market. So that means that homes are not staying in the market more than 6 months nowadays, if they're priced appropriately with the market. And if you have a realtor you're working with, please use that realtor, because the realtors are the ones that can price your property correctly, and they can scan the whole market around the area you're in and make sure that you're asking the most that you can get for your property, and they have the most reach to get your property out there and get it seen so it's sold. So if you don't have anybody that you're working with, my information is going to be in the bio, and I'd love to help you. Tracy Bush Pate, this is Chuck Harder again. And then we have James Henderson behind the camera. Got to give him credit too, because he always adds a wonderful message as well. Do you have anything else to share?
No, I want to thank you very much. And hopefully the little bit of piece of safety that I've offered today, hopefully I help somebody.
I think that you've helped me. What about you, James? Anything?
Absolutely. But people don't walk up to me because they go to the other side of the street when I'm walking down. So I don't know.
Well, I don't know what to do with that, James. How are we gonna end the podcast with that information, James?
We're going to end the podcast with you guys probably going to see each other this weekend at the
National Speakers Association. That's where we met in the South Florida chapter. I just joined yesterday. I had such a great networking opportunity there. So if you join, tell them I sent you, Tracy Bush Pate, and they're going to give you the best seat in the house. And when you're there, and it's a really great networking opportunity, if nothing else, and you learn how to make money with your speaking gigs. So that's what we all want, right? Is to be making more money, more opportunities to be making money, and also share our message, which is what I'm doing here today. And Chuck has helped me to share a great message.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. We love you. Sending you great wishes for a great weekend. Come back next week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.